We know that we've made some changes in Hamlet, certainly in the playing of the ghost scene. We may also, out of our deference for Chekhov, have made some changes in the character of Hamlet himself. We have one other little habit today of playing to the matinee trade, of making sure that every play we do has a good love story. Now, Shakespeare may not have been quite so concerned with the love story, and especially in some of the major tragedies. For one thing, he had boys playing the girls' parts, and it wasn't until actresses came into the theater that we became so insistent on having them earn their pay, play a number of charming romantic scenes with the leading man, and leave the leading man calf-eyed for at least one of the curtains. Now, Shakespeare's play is terribly difficult for us in this respect, because Shakespeare wrote no love scene between Hamlet and Ophelia. And therefore, to make up for Shakespeare's defection in this respect, we tend to try to imply one somewhere in the play, and we very often select a scene in which Hamlet is trying to cut Ophelia off forever.
I did love you once.
Indeed, my lord, you made me believe so.
You should not have believed me. For virtue cannot so inoculate our old stock, but we shall relish of it. I loved you not.
I was the more deceived.
Get thee to a nunnery. Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners?
Now, this business of treating Ophelia so tenderly in this scene may be an invention of our own. Hamlet may be trying to make the break permanent, to tell Ophelia, in effect, that she must give up all thought of any future relationship between them. Hamlet may now be so dedicated to his revenge that he is ruthless in dismissing a girl who might soften him and thereby lead him to betray his cause.
I did love thee once.
Indeed, my lord, you made me believe
You
so.
should not have believed me. For virtue cannot so inoculate our old stock, but we shall relish of it. I loved you not.
I was the more deceived.
Get thee to a nunnery. Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners?
One change that has come over the play that we just cannot very well help is the fact that a great many of the passages have become terribly familiar to us through reading, through seeing the play perform, through listening to it being recited, and so on. So that many passages achieve for us a kind of classic status, and we don't listen to them as excited audiences wondering what is going to happen next. We listen to them as devout scholars prepared to revere them. Take the advice of the players, for instance. Everyone knows it. Everyone admires it as a piece of dramatic criticism. And so we tend to play it as a piece of dramatic criticism, as a nice little lecture in the art of acting.
Speak the speech, I pray you, as I pronounced it to you, trippingly on the tongue. But if you murdered, as many of your players do, I had as lief the town crier spoke my lines. Now do not saw the air too much with your hands thus, but use all gently. For in the very torrent tempest, and as I may say, the whirlwind of passion, you must acquire and beget a temperance that may give it smoothness.
But it is also possible to think of this scene as part of the play, as part of the rising action, as part of the terrible hysteria of Hamlet as he prepares to trap the king.
Speak the speech, I pray you, as I pronounced it to you, trippingly on the tongue. But if you mouthed, as many of your players do, I had as lief the town crier spoke my lines. Now do not saw the air too much with your hands thus, but use all gently. For in the very torrent tempest, and as I may say, the whirlwind of passion, you must acquire and beget a temperance that may give it smoothness.
Whether or not Hamlet is speaking casually to the players or nerving them for an exciting moment that is coming, the moment does come. The play is performed in the main hall of the castle. And as it is performed, as the crime is reenacted in the play, Claudius betrays his guilt, rises from his throne, rushes from the room, crying for lights. Hamlet, of course, is exhilarated now that he has got the proof he needed. He makes an immediate effort to kill the king. And if he withdraws, it is only because he discovers the king at prayer and is now so determined on a full revenge that he's not taking any chances of having the old boy slip off to heaven as a result of his deed. In the meantime, Hamlet's mother has sent for him. And we now hear her in a brief conversation with Polonius, Ophelia's father, just before Hamlet comes.
He will come straight. Look you lay home to him. Tell him his pranks are too broad to bear with. I'll silence me in here. Pray you, be round with him.
Fear me not. With joy I hear him coming.
Now, Mother, what's the matter?
Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended.
Mother, you have my father much offended.
Come, you answer with an idle tongue.
Go, you question with a wicked tongue.
Why, how now, Hamlet?
What's the matter now?
Hast thou forgot me?
No, by the rood, not so. You are the queen, your husband's brother's wife. And would you were not so? You are my mother.
Now that look in Hamlet's eye as he approaches the queen may be another of the additions we have made to the play. Since Freud, we have become fascinated with aberrations. And one of the aberrations that we are able to read into Hamlet is a mildly incestuous love for his mother. Quite a few actors have taken this tack in the 20th century. Those who saw John Barrymore play the part tell us that he approached the queen longingly and lovingly, that he caressed her as he played the scene with her, and that when the ghost appeared to interrupt the scene, Barrymore was standing with his arms around his mother and could only see the ghost over her shoulder. In his recent film version, Sir Laurence Olivier did not leave the Queen's chamber without first pausing to rest his head in his mother's lap for a while, and then to kiss her twice tenderly on the lips. Now, on the other hand, it may be that Hamlet is outraged with his mother, that he is quite justly outraged with his mother for having betrayed that father he so idealizes. He may be on the verge of killing her rather than kissing her when the ghost intervenes.
Now, Mother, what's the matter?
Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended.
Mother, you have my father much offended.
Come, you answer with an idle tongue.
Go, you question with a wicked tongue.
Why, how now, Hamlet?
What's the matter now?
Hast thou forgot me?
No, by the road, not so. You are the queen, your husband's brother's wife, and would you were not so, you are my mother.
Nay, then, I'll set those to you that can.
Come and sit you down. You budge not till I set you up a glass where you may see the inmost part of you.
Me, what wilt thou do? Thou wilt not murder me. Help! Oh!
Hurrah! Hurrah! There! Hamlet, that's it! There!
Oh, me, what hast thou done?
Nay, I do not.
Oh, what a rash and bloody deed is this!
Oh, bloody deed! Oh, Mrs. Bad Good Mother has killed a king and married with his brother!
Kill a king?
Aye, lady, 'twas my words! Thou wretched, rash, intruding fool, farewell. I took thee for thy better. Take thy fortune. Thou find'st to be too busy is some danger. Leave wringing of your hands, and sit you down. And let me wring your heart, for so I shall if it be made of penetrable stuff.
What have I done that thou darest wag thy tongue in noise so rude against me?
Such an act as blurs the grace and blush of modesty, calls virtue hypocrite, takes off the rose from the fair forehead of innocent love, and sets a blister there, makes managed vows as false as dicer's oath.
What act that roars so loud and thunders in the index?
Look here upon this picture, and on this, a counterfeit presentment of two brothers. See what a grace was seated on this brow. Hyperion's curves, the front of Jove himself, a combination of form indeed, where every god did seem to set his seal. This was your husband. Look you now what follows. Here is your husband, like a middle-jewed ear, blasting his wholesome brother. Have you eyes? Could you on this fair mountain leave to feed and batten on this moor? Have you eyes? You cannot call it love, for at your age the heyday and the blood is tame, it's humble and waits upon the judgment. And what judgment could step from this to this? What devil was that cousin Jew at Hoodman blind? The same, where is thy blood?
Oh, Hamlet, speak to me no more! I plunged mine eyes into my very soul, and there I see such black and green spots as will not leave that king.
Nay, but to live in the rank sweat of an enseamed bed, stewed in corruption, honeying and making love over the nasty sty.
Speak to me no more. These words like daggers enter in mine ears.
A
No more,
murderer,
sweet
a
Hamlet.
villain, a slave that is not 20th part the height of your precedent lord, a vice of kings, a cut parcel of the empire and the rule, that from a shelf the precious diadem stole and put it in his pocket,
more!
a king of threads and patches.
When we take the Freud out of the scene, it acquires a slightly different temper. In fact, it acquires a temper.